Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Bring It On. Let's continue through Galvino's workshop. Off to a good start. Wait for his health to come back and then we'll proceed.
I'm ready.
Zawa is ready.
Let's see if there's more of them up here.
Huh?
Be cautious. Be constant.
Huh?
Be cautious. Be constant.
I do not see this hallway not being trapped. See?
Now this is interesting.
Can't disarm it though. And down here, make sure there's nothing hidden in these jars.
Yeah. Yes?
I'm here.
Right, unstable construct. I'm gonna try. A potion to tank these guys. It's only 15, but it's something, right?
Huh?
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Need something? Understood.
Tell me.
Huh?
Need something?
Alright, let's go ahead and pop this. I need him to tank all of these unstable constructs while the potion is up. He's got 60 seconds. There's a lot of them. Great. Alright, let's see what we can do.
Lead the way. Uh-huh.
After that.
Attack!
So we also take some shock damage from those guys. Good to know.
Yeah?
Crumpled experimental notes. This crumpled piece of parchment was found jammed inside the faceplate of a construct. Efforts to instill even a child's intelligence in these creations have all failed. Most cannot hold a quill, much less set thoughts to paper. I believe for some time that Subject 63 might have had a breakthrough during its lessons. I discovered that it has simply been repeating my words, without comprehension. These are not enlightened characters while they wore their original skins. Perhaps their essence lacks a fundamental capacity for learning. I have put them to the test in more martial arts, but here too they falter without the benefit of true sentience. The devil, of course, delights in mocking them. It is like boasting of besting children at combat. If I only had my old machines.
Yeah.
Eyes open.
Yeah.
Alright, this feels like the way forward. Let's check out this path first.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Cell key. A plain iron key found discarded in Galvino's workshop.
Huh? Huh?
Quiet.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places. What?
Tell me.
Oh, neat. An elderly man hunches over a cluttered desk in the back of the workshop. His flesh is pulled tightly around thin, fragile-looking bones, except around his neck, where it hangs in loose wattles. He turns as you enter, a scowl already chiseled into his lined face.
Back again? I told you.
He hesitates, squinting at you from behind smudged and dusty spectacles.
Of course, a fresh fool to replace the last fools. What brings you stomping through my workshop, eh?
He draws his words out, looking you up and down. A sneer creeps across his face. Seems like you already know.
Straight to business, no nonsense. We appreciate that, don't we?
He turns to the bronze golem over his shoulder.
Anything for a breather from your endless yammering.
The voice echoes from within the golem.
You would miss me if I were gone, Aimura. For who would tolerate your barbs and insults?
He laughs. Wait, say nothing.
But you come seeking the White Forge, like they all do.
He turns back to you.
Boys with smooth cheeks and wild dreams. Girls with bright ribbons tied next to their scabbards.
His voice rises and falls with a sing-song of mockery.
Old men and women, too, seeking a final blaze of glory before they're snuffed out for another turn at the wheel. Sound familiar?
His smile is rigid as he looks at you, and the corner of his eye twitches. It's just another job.
Verus, just another job to find the treasure of a civilization beneath an impenetrable keep. Gelarde, what a thrill your life must be. I have this conversation with every pig-headed swashbuckler those Postenagos and stalwarts send here. Go see Galvino, they say. Surely he'll help you.
Must have slipped their minds what a busy and important fellow you are.
In the silence that follows, temperature in the room seems to drop. Galvino glares at her.
I should have let them stone you. Would have silenced your endless rattling forever.
The hanging folds of skin beneath his neck tremble.
Then you'd have naught but those frostbitten inbreds for company.
Focus, please. Aldrich said you could help me.
Ah, the only one young enough to have any sense. And since his mother runs that town now, who am I to argue?
He laughs bitterly.
The villagers and their adventurers hammer and pry at the battery as if they were laying siege to some moldering lord's keep.
He swats the air in front of his face.
But those stones were laid by some of the finest builders ever to have lived, disciples of Abidan in the truest sense. They will not fall by the whims of any kith. And the door itself, it is infused with living essence.
He holds his hands before him. His eyes are wide with wonder. So how does one get into the fortress?
With the secrets of the Pargrunen dwarves, of course.
He taps his balding head.
The Pargrunen of Durgan's battery perished within their own keep, victims of a violent disagreement among their own commandants.
His mouth twists into a wicked grin.
Surely in the village you have heard stories, no? Disappearing caravans, tracks in the snow, screams from the high towers.
He pauses, watching your expression with a raconteur's glee. Raconteurs?
The work of spirits still trapped in the battery, and a testament to those impenetrable walls.
He raps on the mortared stone of his own home.
But the door of the keep, the one the Pargrunen filled with essence, it was made to listen, to recognize its masters.
So I need the door to recognize me.
Traditional Optapo cultures revolved around language. Words revealed who they were and where they were from. That is why you need a contact.
He holds up a twitching finger. Now what's a contact?
Some liken it to a poem, others to an anthem. In reality, it is more than either.
He holds one hand out, turning it this way and that in a balancing motion.
A contact is a statement of purpose, a declaration of identity. Each is unique to its stronghold.
Ha. Seal your door with a key of words, and any liar can talk his way through. There's nothing built of words that won't break when the slightest stress is applied.
Thus, to enter a fortress like Durgan's battery, you would stand at the gate and recite its cantic.
He spreads his arms, his face aglow. Very well. Where would I learn this cantic?
To learn the cantic, you must speak with one of the dwarves of Durgan's battery. A shame they are all dead, no?
He rubs his hands together, pacing.
But no doubt their souls live on in one or two of the villagers of Stalwart, like fine wine poured into a cheap pot.
Derision curls his lips. This is that female dwarf to the northwest of Stalwart, who hasn't had a part to play in any quests yet.
But to identify them, that is the first problem. You would need the skills of an animancer.
He wags a finger at the ceiling. I'm a watcher. The golem swizzles her head sharply toward you. Her mask of a face, and the glass eyes behind it, betray no emotion, but it seems as if she's watching you carefully.
A watcher? Diverus? If this is true, then you could find a sole descendant from Durgan's battery, no question. But the greater difficulty remains.
Galvino rubs his gaunt, whiskered cheeks.
You would have to learn the cantic from the dormant soul. And to do that, you would have to awaken it.
But this awakening would be permanent, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. Whoever you awaken will live with the memories and the personality of a past life. Maybe peacefully, maybe not.
His bony shoulders rise in a shrug.
That is why you must pay attention to the soul you would awaken, no? It is a monumental thing to impose on another, but These are the very people who wish to rediscover the White Forge, Verus?
He removes his spectacles and polishes the dirty lenses with his tunic. The Cantech is all I need.
Who can say? None have yet opened Durgan's battery.
Galvino raises his hands, palms up.
But the ones that came before you, I think they got close. You may wish to find them and see what they discovered.
I found what's left of them, a journal and a tile.
Most interesting.
He adjusts his spectacles as he peers at the tile.
They spent many days at the battery door. This looks like something that once belonged there.
He taps the tile. Awaken someone. How would I do that?
An awakening is merely the jolting of a dormant soul into consciousness.
He makes a bursting motion with his hands, displaying his fingers wide.
When such things happen normally, it is because something has reminded the subject of a past life, often violently so.
He smacks his workbench with surprising vigor.
Thus, to awaken one of the former dwarves of Durgan's battery, you will need to address that soul, and preferably by name.
He folds his hands together, steepling his fingers.
But show some care. When you examine these souls, whatever it is you watchers do, you may see images, memories.
He leans forward, his back hunched.
These are moments of special import. What you see will tell you much about the person, and perhaps the condition in which they awaken.
He raises his hoary eyebrows and tilts his head back.
Awaken them from a traumatic memory, and who knows? Maybe they awaken thirsty for blood. Or maybe you awaken someone else.
He cackles again.
Here, this has been tuned to the Aeon of Durgan's battery. Use it near the villagers, and it should tell you if one has a soul old enough to have come from the battery.
He rummages around and produces an unfamiliar device. I see. Thank you for your help.
You have much work ahead of you, as do I.
He nods and turns back to his desk.
I'm going with him.
The golem looks between you, her neck turning on its oil joint.
You? Go to Stalwart? Is this your macabre sense of humor, or has something gone to rust in that beautiful head I crafted?
Galvino stares at her, agape.
No one will bother me while I'm with him. Besides, I can help him find people in Stalwart.
The golem's burnished face is eerily impassive.
You haven't been to Stalwart in 13 years. And this watcher sees souls. What help could you be? Besides, I have need of you here. You owe whatever remains of your wicked life to me.
A frown sours on his lips as he taps his chest with a crooked finger. The golem says nothing, but her essence smolders. Resentment rises from her in shimmering waves. She swivels her head to look at you. What's the story between you two?
This charming specimen is a convicted murderer. The Devil of Carrick, she's called.
Gabbino laughs, coughing and wheezing.
Mighty fine of you to start with my good qualities, and you wonder why we don't get more visitors.
Killed over a dozen people before they finally caught up to her in Stalwart. Perfect company for lonely camps and mountain passes, no?
He nudges you, all the while grinning wickedly at the motionless golem.
Hey, I know how to start a campfire.
The only reason she's not a frozen corpse is because I convinced the old mayor to let me try an experiment.
A shadow passes over his face. You put a person's soul into a metal body. He leans back, raising his hands.
Into a work of art! Look at this! Craftsmanship worthy of a jeweler!
He traces the scrollwork that runs along the golem's jaw.
Fully articulated joints, capable of grasping a pen and writing her own name.
He grabs her hand, delicately bends her tapered fingers.
And of crushing your throat.
She snatches her hand away.
Show me another smith anywhere in the Deerwood who is capable of such delicacy and precision. She is a masterpiece.
Galvino steps back and takes a longer look at her. Why did you build her?
Why build a fortress or a village or anything? To make something that keeps, that...
A disgusted sigh rattles in his throat.
It was the early days of the Legacy. My peers in the colleges of Animancy were filling the Hollowborn with the souls of animals.
He pauses, scratching his chin.
I thought there was a better way.
He is silent for several seconds, his gaze growing distant.
One with a Plum Academy job back in Salona? Don't forget that part.
He glares at her with narrowed eyes. Ack, now we come to the truth. Reputation is everything in the Republics, and that reputation is built on success. Why is she called the Devil of Carrick?
She committed her first crime in the village of Carrick. Burned a family alive in their home.
He shrugs.
Did the same thing in half a dozen other villages, but the name stuck.
I take it your experiment didn't go over so well with the rest of the village.
Here we go.
She rolls her eyes, rasping them against their sockets.
They were going to stone her anyway. Why not allow her to be put to some useful purpose?
His lips curl back from yellowing teeth.
My life's ambition. To serve somebody's useful purpose.
Better that than no purpose at all.
I approached Mayor Sinahiod and begged. He saw the potential and allowed me the privilege of attempting my little experiment.
He sneers at the words and the dignity they recall. His shoulders are stooped and his teeth bared.
Then, I accomplished what few animancers have even dreamed of. No academic support, no patron. Just me in the middle of nowhere.
He jabs a finger into his concave chest.
Oh, now you got 'em all wound up.
I transferred a fully intact soul from a living subject to a fabricated body. She retained her personalities, her memories, all of it.
He claws at the air with one thick-veined hand.
Yet the villagers saw only a stolen corpse.
He throws up his hands. Aren't you afraid she'll murder you?
She may be mad, but she's no fool. She wouldn't survive long on her own.
Galvino shrugs.
If the villagers didn't send a hunting party after her, the Eremans would claim her. Her joints and mechanisms require maintenance, and she cannot perform all of it herself.
See, he's reminding me. In case I get any bright ideas.
That's all I wanted to know.
She's a fine specimen, her personality notwithstanding.
He waves one hand in a circular motion. The golem says nothing, but we've already read that. I'd like her to travel with me.
Quay? No, you don't know what you ask.
He shakes his head, waving his hands.
This woman, the Devil of Carrick, she was a notorious murderer, burned people alive all over the region. Besides, she works for me. After all, I am the one who preserved her.
He straightens his back and looks you up and down, taking your measure. I'll pay you.
She's a valuable assistant, and one I've worked hard to create. I must see payment for her services. I'm sure you understand.
I think that's a steal for a companion. Yeah, pay 700. Deal.
Fine price for a blacksmith striker. Suppose I should be flattered.
She turns to Galvino.
And there you have it, a bargain.
Got an achievement. Fish, guts, and murder.
May Wal watch your step.
Gives you a sardonic grin.
A moment. You are going back to Stalwart, yes? Perhaps you could do me a favor.
Galvino gives you a thoughtful frown. Tell me about this favor.
There is a man in the village named Grinde, the head fisherman.
He weaves his fingers together.
The rest of Stalwart kisses his feet because he fills their stinking blades with speckleback. But I know he's not as virtuous as he seems.
His face crinkles in vicious glee. Seems like you have a history with Grinda.
That self-righteous meddler engineered my eviction from the village. He turned them all against me. Now I want him to feel the scorn of those mush-brained imbeciles.
What exactly do you want me to do to him?
Humiliate him, of course. Show his neighbors what he truly is, and let him live with the disgrace.
He points vaguely in the direction of the village, his thin arm trembling.
He's always been a ripple sponge addict. Just got good at hiding it once his sainted sister died and left him in charge of the fishery. But he keeps a stash in the fishery, sneaks in at night when the others have gone home, and emerges sluggish and red-eyed a few hours later. I want you to expose him. Go to the fishery after dark when it's empty, find his ripple sponge, and show it to Renengild.
I see.
Do not answer me now, but when you return to that festering eyesore and smell the stink of fish that hangs in the air, consider what I've said.
He holds up a hand, and he grins.
But be sure to approach the fishery by night, when it's empty. They will give you no end of trouble if they see you stealing during the day.
Tell me again about how to awaken someone.
You're the Watcher, so you know better than anyone, Diverus. You must find a sole descendant of one of the dwarves of Durgan's battery. Talk to the villagers, look into their souls, whatever it is you do.
He waves a hand.
When you find such a one, remind the sleeping soul of its old name. Awaken it thus, and it can teach you the Cantek. Something else? Quay.
I wanted to know more about the expeditioners who came to you before.
As would I, but there is little to tell. They never gave their names.
He tugs at his whiskers.
But they seem to know more about the battery than the others, which is unusual because they did not seem like typical adventurers.
He raises his snowy eyebrows.
Their hands were smooth and marked with ink, not scars, and they traveled light. Unusually so.
He rubs at his chin. What were those constructs I encountered in your workshop?
Other projects, they are none of your concern.
He waves a hand and looks quickly away from you. The villagers don't trust you. Do those constructs have something to do with it? He mutters furiously under his breath, raising his hands to the ceiling.
For years I've been trying to create another like the Devil of Carrick. Yet those post-Enacos in Stalwart destroyed my machinery.
His drooping skin trembles in his rage.
Now, I can only create these broken, mindless things. The devil remains my most perfect creation.
His lips twist with the taste of something bitter. Wait, where have you found the souls to create these other golems?
Smugglers, slavers, fugitives, the kind of riffraff that pass this way. Rarely missed, and good work to keep my little devil busy.
He shrugs. Why do you need more golems?
I can't present the Devil of Carrick to the academies, can I? A mad woman and a murderer? No. I need to bring a success to the republics.
He rubs his hands together, frowning. I've heard enough. Galvino is already lost in thought, his eyes twitching at some mental calculation. Had questions about the Devil of Carrick.
As must the gods themselves.
He looks at the ceiling and opens his hands. Already read that? Alright, enough about her. Let's discuss another matter.
Something else? Quay.
Farewell.
Huh?
Alright, a few level ups. We'll take care of that next time.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I'm curious, what is she? Oh, she's a rogue. What if the advanced construct? She gets +1 might, +1 constitution. Oh, she has a trapper background. Okay. Well, I think we just solved our mechanics problem. Alright, so we'll look at her class and level her up next time, as well as speak to her. Unfortunately, if I take her with us... I could swap out Pelagina for Haravius. So I'm trying to max out the Greenstone staff, because I would like to do that. So yeah, we might end up doing that. I'll swap out Paladin of Haravius, and that'll be our party going forward, at least until the Greenstone Staff is maxed out.
Huh?
So he's going to bring Aloth back, one, because he's got good spells, but also because of his mechanic score. But if we have her, max out her mechanic score, I shouldn't need Aloth. We'll see. Yeah, we'll explore his workshop next time, or his study, and speak to the Devil of Karok, level everybody up, and that might be all we can do next episode. We'll see. Either way, gonna call it here. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.